Right, hi team, Mike Goldfields Travels. Well, banging on from my last video. I've got about a week, I suppose a week and a bit. I've been looking at the weather to see how the weather's tracking up in Leonora. In fact, I'll grab my phone. So I've just grabbed my phone. You'll probably notice, this is this video has been done in the burbs, and I'm just having a look at the weather because Leonora's calling. So today they're saying a maximum of 40 in Leonora. It's currently 46 degrees. So what's the time? Oh, struggling to see that. Yeah, it's nearly midday. But, if you hit the ground at 4:30, so you're going to get a fair bit of prospecting in. You just got to deal with the heat in the afternoon and the warmer nights at the moment. So let's have a look just going forward a bit. So what have we got this week now? I'm reading this off a bomb because supposedly it's the most accurate. So they're saying 42 day. Whoa, that's a hot one. 38, 39, 41, 35, 33. So you can see towards the end of the week, or mid next week I should say, the weather's starting to come down. So I have noticed that we're going to have a cool spell for at least 2 weeks up in Leonora region. Yeah, that's the temperature of Leonora. You get out on the ground, it's going to be a bit hotter, hot ground, hot rocks, warmed by the sun, and maybe a lack of airflow in certain locations. And generally, it's hotter. But I'm just waiting for the load here. It blows me away how I'm in the middle. We're in the middle of the burbs. We're not that far from Perth Airport, so we're not out in the sticks. And phone reception. 5G here is almost non-existent. Telstra's meant to be the best. And there's dead spots all over the place. Just over there at High Wycombe, at my mum's place, you stand in the car park there and you can't. You're lucky to have one bar. For what you pay, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to relaunch that app because it had a bit of a hiccup. Anyway, it's only showing like 2 bars. We're in a primary hotspot for Telstra communications and such, and what? Blows me away, guys. So I don't know how that can be, and we all know that Telstra's might be the biggest player on the market, but they're certainly not the cheapest. But crikey Moses. Anyway, that's another argument for full-time Starlink, but if you've been following along, that's a little bit out of my budget at the moment. I do have the Gen 1, I think it is, the first real Starlink that came out. I've had that dish for, is it 2 years, 2.5 years? I've had it a while. But I didn't run that last time I was out bush because it has and it has not become expensive. $190 a month for what you get, for the benefit of it, especially as a YouTuber, is I think it's kind of money well spent. And certainly for any these big YouTubers that are making, far more than that are covering their costs back for that, on YouTube revenue. They're certainly not me. But $100 a month, $190 a month for me at the moment is, it might as well be $1,000 a month. Anyway, I'll stop prattling on. I've spoken enough about the weather. It's always a good way to start a conversation. This is day 1 of preparation for going back to the Goldfields. I've had my little holiday down south, and me and Barnes been away. He's had a fat time because old Barnes I'm going to have to leave behind. It'll break my heart again, but it's got to be done. It's just too hot for him up there, and I don't have a caravan or air conditioning or anything. So like I said, I'm on a pretty tight budget. So I need the ability to carry, to have a good source of water. I do have 280, so I do have 160 litres in the camper. Unfortunately, one of the gauges isn't working properly. I tried to fix it, but I think it's an electrical fault within the unit, and I can't tell when one of the tanks is empty. But I carry 60 litre bladder in the back. I was going to upgrade to 100 litre. These are Drifter Stockton bladders. These things are bloody great. This one I've had for like 2 years. It was in the cruiser. It's been all over the country. Been to Cape York. You name it's been there. And it's only recently I've put it inside the bag to protect it. So, they're rock solid, these things. I haven't done much else in the back. I've moved the battery to get it out of the way. I've now mounted it on the, it's a bit of a dodgy mount, but it does the job. You can see it's on an angle, but I checked with iTech World that those batteries can sit on a slight angle, because you know, it's pretty expensive to go and buy a tray that mounted on the wheel arch and sat level. So I ran with that. That seems to be working right. I've got the bladder in there. Against my better judgment, I've been a bit spoiled in the past, guys. You know, like back in the day when, you know, when things were good, I used to generally buy the, you know, I suppose the good gear, you know, the better gear. And in my cruiser, I had to set out a drifted drawers and had a really good setup. Fortunately, I had to sell the cruiser, but I really needed a set of drawers in the back. They had no way of securing anything, and stuff was just floating around in boxes, and it just became an absolute pet hate for me. And going back to Goldfields, you know, I'm going to have prospecting stuff in the back, you know, going out with me. So I decided to invest in a set. These came up on special. I think I've got King's Adventure 4 drive. Oh, don't shoot me down in flames, guys. A lot of people love their gear. The bottom line is you get what you pay for, and it does do the job. Now, for anybody that's talking, you know, drawer slides and that in the back, that's cheap. You know, you'll be struggling to buy a second-hand set of bloody drawers for, you know, for twice that amount. So I bought those. They're really easy to fit. Some things you have to deal with. They have holes drilled so you can adjust where the slide, where the arm sits that you bolt to the floor of your cab. But when you move it to another location, the bloody holes don't line up. And so there's a couple of things you have to, I suppose, redo or modify yourself. But at the end of the day, they're really quick and simple to fit. It wasn't hard. The other thing I had was the locking mechanism. The locking mechanism for the slide here is it's a little bit ordinary. I say, you know, it's got to go all. It's meant to go all the way down so you can open this slide, but you can see the drawer stops that happening, and you know, it's kind of difficult to get open, and unless you've got it down, you can see I've got it open there, so it's quite difficult to open. And this was actually was just screwed in, and it was actually that was not broken, but it was bent. This was damaged. I had to straighten it out a bit, and consequently maybe that's why it doesn't work as well. I mean, it can be a bit of a challenge to get back in. It's not ideal, but you get what you pay for. And as far as, you know, the function goes itself, they work pretty good. The drawers slide pretty well. You know, they have these upside down that I kind of like, but it does make for, I suppose, water and ingress getting into there and maybe finding yourself inside. But the drawers slide, they're pretty sturdy, they slide pretty well. I've got to make sure that that's up. And yeah, so they work pretty well. They're fairly sturdy. These will come prospecting drawers, and all my prospecting gear will go in there. I can lock those drawers, but what I find is if I close this and I lock the tray, you know, if you can't get that open, you're not going to be getting into the drawers. And to be quite honest, even if I did lock them and somebody wanted to, they could just rip the top off. They're not hard to get off. So things that haven't happened due to financial restrictions. I was nearly going to say poverty then, but it's not really poverty. No lift. I'm still running the standard suspension. I'm running standard side tyres. I did that for a reason, because I have put you know, proper off-road tyres on, and I chose not to go muddies, but there is a reason I stay with the standard wheels, and that's to do with this bump steer issue. I want to make sure that I'm not tied up in that. No bar protection down the side, no bar protection on the back, just a heavy duty tow hitch that does allow recovery from the center point. No recovery points on the front, and no rock sliders step / sidebars. I'll show you a consequence of that, due to budget once again, but I'm really wishing that I had have scrounged around and found a few extra bucks. So let me tell you the story. I was at a campsite, the last day I was at a campsite before I come back to Perth a couple of days ago, and we were just heading off. I had to go and have a slash, so I went down the side road that sort of went past the toilets. I stopped there up on the grass and went and did what I had to do, and I didn't turn back into the track immediately, and I didn't see there was a fairly large rock laying on the ground, but it sort of came out and had sort of a almost like a peak or a ledge that stuck out off the rock. I didn't see that, and when I heard the noise I actually thought that I'd driven under a tree branch, and I thought, oh, you've got to be joking me, I've put a bloody dent in my roof, I've run it, there's an overhanging branch, heavy branch. So I had a look, oh no, it's not a branch, and then I looked down, I reversed back, and I realised I'd run along the side of this rock. So here's this, guys. I mean, this car's, I bought it brand new. You would have heard the story about, why the Cruiser was sold, but I didn't see that rock, and I drove forward and I've picked it up, and you can see it's not too bad there, but as we run down, look at that, guys. So really, you sort of got to get down to see it, unless I pointed it out. You might not notice it. Not many people, I suppose, look down at that part, but I know it's there. It was a bit of a painful event. This car's 8 months old. I haven't done 20,000 Ks yet. Yeah, so it was a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. And obviously I need to get it fixed, but had I put a set of slider steps, sill protectors on, which is normally one of, it's normally rhubarb and sill protectors, rock sliders, steps, slash. Normally that's the first thing, that's the first thing I've done on the last two vehicles, and pretty much, well, on the Cruisers before it even come off the showroom floor. And so it pains me that, I could have done it for as cheaply as $700, I suppose, if I feel it myself. And but $700 at this stage is a lot of money to me, being the situation. So I don't know, how do you look at that? It is what it is, no point crying over spilt milk. It's happened. It's what it is. I'll get it fixed, and hopefully it never happened. And as soon as I get it fixed, rock sliders will be going on, or sill protectors anyway. So anyway, it is what it is. We'll run with that. It doesn't affect the mechanics or anything else of the car. It's just a sill. It's just a dent. It can be fixed. No one was hurt, apart from my pride and such. I hate putting dents in the vehicle. I like to, as much as they are for me, like a travel bush, prospecting vehicle, which you will do a bit of pinstriking. And I mean, I always said I was going to wrap my next vehicle, but budget again, guys. Wrapping's expensive. Nothing we can do about it. No one was harmed in the denting of the vehicle. So no real changes apart from the rhubarb. I mean, you have to have a rhubarb, and I included that. I had rust proofing, the rhubarb, ceramic paint protection. I spent about $1,000 on the back of the vehicle, with the rack, the battery setup, and now with the drawers, solar panel, and the drifter awning, which I really like. They're a good awning. I had one on the Cruiser and I never used it, and then I put a freestanding one on the Cruiser and I used it a bit, but I hardly ever used it, so I ended up taking it off and getting rid of the wind noises. Noisies the bloody Cruisers 70 series are anyway. And I'd like to have a 70 series again, but I'll probably never own one again. Pinches at my heart nerves a little bit. The fact I had to sell that vehicle, and I probably won't get another one. I always wanted a 7 series, and it was a really well set up vehicle, and it had quality gear in it, and I miss some of those items. The inbuilt twin ARB air compressor where I just had the plugs at the side, and it was just so good. I haven't got any of those features now. Breaks me heart, but I'm not knocking the DMax. It's a beautiful vehicle. It's beautiful to drive. In the 2024 model, all the electronics, and being as old as I am, my reflexes aren't as fast as they used to be, and this has saved me from hitting somebody that stepped out in front of me on the main road in Midland only about a month after I got it. and he reacted faster than me. If he had relied on my reactions, I probably would have clouded that fella. Young bloke jumping off the curb in bloody main traffic. I don't know what he was thinking on his bloody phone. Anyway, alright team, so here we are about an hour later. In there was my summer storage of all my general prospecting stuff. So now all the cooking stuff and food stuff, that's all coming out of that drawer. That'll all go in now in the camper, in the kitchen section, in the camper. And now I've got my drawer fitted out. You know, I've got about 3 protective hats in there, 2 or 3 mozzie, or I should say fly nets. You know, I've got my scales in there, attachments, bits and bobs for the, you know, detector, my pick, my knee protector, my spot finder, you know, some empty bottles, scoops are up there, knee pads, a dish in there for a dish, and a sift and such for busting up and working with dolly pot will go in the camper, but the rest of the stuff for working with species now packed away in there. So all the gear basically, you know, I want the vehicle to have, I just want to be able to jump into the bus and go out and prospect. Now all this gear, a lot of it used to float around the back seat or in the back of the car, a lot of it in the back seat, because, you know, if I went to town or went somewhere, or even away from the vehicle, you know, I didn't want gear getting knocked off. You know, it's expensive to replace, and you got to lose $2,000 worth of gear before it's worthwhile doing an insurance claim. So that will now be secured in there, in the drawers. The detector will still go in the back. My harness will still go in the back. Running the 6000 actually, you know, makes it, it's next level of making things easier. I can just simply pull up, jump out with the 6, and my my neck speakers that I've been using ever since I seen Chrissy, you know, give them a run down. She's had them for a while and they're going good. So I got myself a set of those that I've used for 1 month when I did that 1 month trip at the end of last year. So yeah, there we go. So that's now set up. I need to go and get another pick. I've had this pick 2 or 3 years. Still seems to be going strong, but I have broken a handle on a pick before. So, and this is, she's lost the edges a bit, but I'll keep using that pick, of course. But I need to go and get another pick because 100 k's out of Leonora, less or more, and I break a pick handle. It's not a showstopper. It makes things pretty difficult. Pretty much all my prospecting bits and bobs, you know, now in that drawer, which means, you know, detector will be in the back, and the other gear I'll just jump in and be able to drive and pull this drawer out, and everything I need will be in there. So that those drawers actually work pretty well. You know, if I get a year out of those drawers without any problems, I'll be pretty happy. I'm pretty sure I got on my special for 250 or 200, it might have been 240, or was it 260? I can't remember, but it was cheap when you consider the cost of buying drawers. They're pretty sturdy, and the roller bearings seem to be pretty good. All right guys, I think we're pretty much done, and we've got the mighty DMax. Is now got the prospecting gear in it, and everything's secure. The story begins. Once upon a time, the old fella, and we'll see how it goes, eh? But I'm getting ready. I think I'm only about a week away from heading back to the Goldfields. She's going to be hot, but that's what we'll do to get started. Cheers team, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate your time. And I'll see you in the next video, but won't be long, and I'll be up there looking for that gold. This is the old fella signing out. See you guys. You know, you would have heard. I might need to edit that out.